Hey, it's Julie the Whippy Chick here again, and today we're going to learn the basics of crochet. We're going to learn the first two things you really need to know to get started. The first one is a chain, and the second one is going to be a row or two of single crochet. So grab your hook, grab some yarn, and let's get started. Okay, so today we're going to learn how to make a chain. And the first thing we need to do is to make that slip knot that we talked about in the first video. Or the second video, I can't remember. So that's how I make my slip knot. I'll do it one more time, but if you're needing practice, you can always go check out the video. So you pinch it, scoop under, and pull it through. You're going to take your hook. I'm using a big 6mm hook today. It makes it a little easier for you to see on the screen when I use the bigger hook size. It makes the stitches a little bigger. So I'm going to insert my hook into my loop. I'm going to tighten it down just a little bit. We want to be able to pull the working yarn through that loop, so we don't want it too tight. This over here is called the tail. You really don't do anything with the tail until the end of your project when you're going to weave that in. For now, we're just going to be working with the working yarn. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to wrap our yarn over the top of our hook. We're going to pinch it down here just a little bit to hold it in place while we pull it through. And that's it. That's the first chain. You can pull it down just a little bit if you want to tighten it a little. But you want to remember that eventually you're going to need to put a hook back through those stitches, so you don't want to have it too tight. So let's try that again. We're going to yarn over, pinch it just a little, and pull it through. Yarn over, pinch it a little, and pull it through. Yarn over, pull it through. Yarn over, pull it through. And this feels very awkward at first. It's not something that you do every day. It just takes practice, but you'll get there. So now when we look back at our stitches, you can kind of see that they're a little bit shaped like a V. Here's the first one we did. You've got the back loop here and the front loop here, and they kind of come together in a point, making a V. Maybe if I hold it up right this way, you'll be able to see those V's better. Here's a V, here's a V, here's a V. So we're just going to keep making that chain. Pull it through, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through. So that's a nice long chain. And you can make a chain as long as you have yarn. You can just chain away. I'm not really sure what you would do with it. It might make a good shoestring. Yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, and pull it through. So now that we've got some stitches on the hook, we've got some stitches on the chain, let's try a crochet stitch. Okay, so we've got 11 stitches, 11 chains. I'm going to count them. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And way up here at the top is 11. Now these are really loose stitches. Like I said, I'm using this 6mm hook because it just makes it a little easier for you to see what I'm doing when those stitches are nice and big. I've also clipped my yarn, and you would not normally clip your yarn. You're usually, unless you're changing colors, you're just going to keep using your working yarn. This is my working yarn. I did clip it because I want to change colors. And I want to change colors so that I can show you a little easier what I'm doing. You're going to see a little bit easier when you have a little bit more of a color contrast. So that's why I did that. You do not need to do that. That is just so that you can see what I'm doing. All right, so we're going to start our second row. We're not going to do anything with this last stitch. This last stitch, it works like a little ladder. It turns us. It's going to flip it up to make it so that we can raise our our row up to the next level. So that flips up like that. So we're not going to knit, or I'm sorry, we're not going to crochet into that. We're going to crochet into the next stitch. So this is the first stitch from the hook. Here's the hook. That's the first stitch from the hook. We're going to crochet into this second stitch from the hook. Now on this first row, on this foundation row, we're going into the chain, and we're just going to go into one loop of each stitch. So I'm going to insert my hook into that first loop, and I'm going to pull up my yarn, and again I am using a different color. So we're going to just pretend this orange is blue. It's just going to make it a little easier for you to see. So I'm going to get that working yarn there, and I'm going to pull that through. And look at that, now I've got two loops on my hook now because I pulled that through. And I'm going to pick up another loop, and I'm going to pull that through both of those loops, just like that. That is my first single crochet. Let's try that again. We're going to go into the next stitch. Here's the next stitch. I'm going to insert my hook. I'm going to pick up some yarn. You can go over there if you want to do a yarn over. I like to just turn my hook. That's what it's for. It's to help us pull things through. So I just turn it and pull it that way. So now I've got two loops on my hook. Let's do it again. We're going to go into that stitch, pull up some yarn. You've got two loops on your hook. Grab some more and pull it through those two loops. Well, let's go to the next stitch. Insert your hook, pull up a loop. Now we've got two. Pull up another and pull it through both loops. The next stitch, insert your hook, pull it through, yarn over and pull it through again. There we go. This is going to feel very awkward at first. You're going to have yarn going every which way. You're not going to know how to hold your hook. That's all normal. It's just, you've got to practice and then eventually figure it out what's comfortable for you, what works for you. Got two on the hook. Pull it through. Next stitch. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, pull through two. Insert your hook, pick up a loop, pull it through. Insert your hook, pick up a loop, pull it through. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, and pull it through. And we've just done 10 single crochet stitches. And if we take a close look, maybe it's even easier to see those V's when they're in orange. 1 V, 2 V's, 3 V's. I think the first V is actually blue because we used our chain. Okay. So we've come to the end of our first row of single crochets. It's kind of our foundation row. And now that we're at the end, we're going to chain up. I'm going to chain one, just like we did before. We need to level up. We've got to go up a level. That's our little step ladder. And we're going to turn our work. And that really just means flipping it over because we always work from right to left. So we're going to go across and we've leveled up. And now that we're on this row, we're going to actually go into both of the V's of our stitch. The first row, it's really tricky to be able to do that. So you just go into one loop. But now that we've got something to hang on to and we've got some substantial stitches here, we're going to go into both of those V's. And I think it's actually easier because if you stretch these out just a little bit, you can see that there's actually space there to put your hook in. You're going to insert your hook right underneath those V's, and I think it's easier. Like I said before, The foundation row is always the hardest row for me. So we're gonna, let's start again. We're gonna chain 1 and turn our work. So we're gonna chain 1 and we're gonna turn our work. We're gonna insert under both of those and pull up a loop. So now we've got 2 there, and pull through both of them. And we're going to do that again. Pull through 2. I'm sorry, pull up a loop and pull through 2. Insert a hook. Pull up a loop. Pull through 2. Insert your hook. Pull up a loop. Pull through 2. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, and pull through 2. And this is going to be really hard at first. I'm not going to kid ya. It does take practice, just like anything else. I mean, for me, I've been doing this a long time, so it's easy for me to just say, oh, insert your hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2, over and over again. But it does take practice, and it's slow going at first, but I think it's worth it in the long run. It's relaxing for me. Might not be relaxing at the moment, but you'll get there. Just persevere. Pull up a loop, pull through 2, insert your hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and we've got 1 stitch left. This is also kind of awkward at the end of a row. It's sometimes a little tricky to tell. Do I still have a stitch there? And if you're ever unsure, you can always just count your stitches. So we're going to insert our hook, pull up a loop. Oh, come on, it's being a little fiddly on me here. There it is. Got 2 loops, pull through 2. And if you want to do another row, which you probably will, I hope you will, it's addictive, you always chain 1 before you start your next row. Chain 1 and turn. So I hope you found that tutorial helpful. I know in the beginning it can be really tricky trying to figure out how to move your hands just the right way, how to hold the yarn. There's yarn all over the place. How do I hold a hook? But these things become second nature. The more you practice, the better you're going to get, the easier it's going to get, and the more relaxing it's going to get. Just keep plugging away. You're going to get there, I promise. So if you liked this video, please click the like button down there at the bottom, and maybe even subscribe. I know my channel's new, so I'm trying to make more of these videos. Hopefully they're getting a little better each time. And also, feel free to leave me a comment. That's my favorite. I love to hear from people who watch my videos. So like, subscribe, share, comment, all of those YouTube-y things would be great. All right, so hope to see you again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.